New footage from the Letcher County courthouse has recently been released by Court TV. The footage depicts several brief witness interviews that occurred immediately after Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Steins shot and killed District Court Judge Kevin Mullins inside the judge's chambers. The witnesses all describe the sheriff's bizarre behavior in the minutes and hours leading up to the shooting. In the months that have followed, rumors and speculation about a possible motive have been rampant. One rumor in particular that has permeated every corner of the internet, news, and social media involves an alleged inappropriate relationship between the judge and the sheriff's then 17-year-old daughter. This rumor has been debunked by all involved parties. The families of both the judge and the sheriff have denied the allegations, as have the Kentucky State Police investigators in charge of the case. Mickey Stein's own defense attorneys have said that they have seen no evidence to support this rumor. Despite multiple denials and corrections by investigators, attorneys, and the families themselves, this rumor has nevertheless persisted and at times been relentlessly pushed on social media and by certain creators. So if this rumor has indeed been denied outright, and if there is truly no evidence to support it, why has it been perpetuated so vehemently across all platforms? The rumor tends to suggest that Sheriff Steins was a loving father who committed an ultimate act of selflessness and bravery in order to protect his family and save his daughter from a dangerous predator. That suggestion may offer the public a sense of comfort or justification for such an unexplainable act. At the very least, it provides a somewhat reasonable explanation for an otherwise incomprehensible act of violence committed by one well-known, widely liked member of the community against another. Well, whatever the judge said or did must have been really bad to provoke Mickey to murder. I know Mickey would never do something like this unless he had a damn good reason. A motive that involves an elected sheriff shooting an unarmed judge as an act of desperation and selfless bravery in order to save his family and to prevent future victims is one that the public and a jury of 12 might be able to reasonably accept and understand. Unfortunately, that is likely not what occurred here. Many have speculated about the sheriff suffering a psychological disturbance or a mental breakdown of sorts, with others suggesting that the sheriff snapped after seeing something that upset him on the judge's phone. When approached by law enforcement officers immediately after the shooting, it's been reported that Stein said something along the lines of, "They're trying to take my wife and daughter." Void of context, this statement naturally ignited a frenzy of speculation and rumors surrounding the judge, the sheriff, and the sheriff's wife and daughter. Some have suggested that longtime corruption within the courthouse and local government played a role, where Steins believed that he was being set up to take the fall for something or someone, or that he was being threatened and targeted by higher-ups. Some have speculated that a major sextortion scandal that had recently come to light was somehow connected to the shooting. Steins' defense attorney, Jeremy Bartley, has made a number of public statements implying a connection between an ongoing civil lawsuit filed against Ben Fields, a former friend and deputy of Steins, the sheriff's office, and Steins himself, in his official capacity, somehow served as a catalyst for the shooting. After all, Steins had sat for a civil deposition in that case on Monday, September 16th, a mere 3 days before the shooting. Whatever the reason or reasons, there is no doubt that Steins was experiencing a great deal of stress leading up to the shooting. The mere act of shooting an unarmed colleague while inside the chambers of a busy courthouse on a weekday afternoon suggests some degree of a break from reality. But there is another possible motive that the media and creators seem to be missing or are avoiding altogether. A motive that does indeed involve the sheriff, his wife and daughter, and perhaps the judge. But it paints a very different story than the one that has dominated the airwaves and the news for the last 10 months.
I got to the courthouse today. Mickey came in and one of the kids was in a Zoom meeting. I was sitting in the jury room talking to him. He came in and he said, "I need to talk to Kevin." And someone said he's in a Zoom meeting. And he had a file in his hand and he seemed upset then. So I don't know if he was mad about something in that file or maybe they had a disagreement about that. He was like adamant he needed to talk to Kevin then and he had his file in his hand, so I don't know if that had anything to do with anything. Okay. But it was something about domestic violence. Something in the file about domestic violence. I don't know if it was someone he knew and he wasn't happy about what Kevin said. We all went to lunch together today. Mickey and Kevin, Christy and Tim. Michael Clark. We had a street fight, and Mickey acted really strange today. I've been around him a lot. He's always a real fun, cut-up, easy-going guy, and he acted strange at lunch. And I don't know if this matters, but I'm gonna tell you anyway, because after, it's odd to me. He leaned back in his chair at lunch, and they were talking about re-election. He said, I'll never make it to the next election. Thought that was odd when he said it. Didn't really know what he meant by that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was, leaning back, his gun was right in front, and Michael Clark looked over and he said, it's an awful big gun you got there. He said, yeah. He said, is it hot? And he said, oh, I don't know. He said, it looks like you filed the numbers off of it, which was odd then, but now I'm kind of wondering if it was in fact a gun that had the numbers filed off. We just sat down, we were talking, and Nikki walked in, and he just had a weird look on his face, like he was just, he just looked odd. I thought he looked odd, maybe because I know his normal actions. Oh, he just acted odd all day today. And he walked in and in a really hateful voice, he said, well, I need to get out of here, I need to talk to Kevin in private. And we all just kind of looked at each other because it's Kevin's office, so it was odd to me that he was telling people to get out of Kevin's office.
I mean, he seemed odd. He just seemed off. Like, what do you normally say? He just, I don't know. There's just something that just didn't seem right.
Yeah, something on his mind.
Or something. He wasn't present. That makes sense. This was something was just off. And, it was odd. He had, of course, he had his gun on him, and Michael was going to comment about something they're giving a hard time about his gun getting small, and then asking, there's a piece of paper that was taped to Dotson's office. He's like, no, I need you to get that paper. He's like, nah, man. So it was just odd. You come in and sorry, everybody needs to leave, but the tone, the demeanor was changed, tone was changed.
Right now,
Judge is my best friend. We all had lunch together at the street fight. And he did tell Judge he needed to talk to him when he got back. But after we'd been in court, I was in the judge's office. And Mickey walked in and told us to all get out. We need to talk to him. He said, just y'all get out. I don't know exact words. But it was odd the way he did it. It wasn't normal Mickey. I mean, we all pick and bicker at each other all the time, but it's like fun, just workplace. They always have been buddies.
I heard gunshots and I just jumped up and ran. I ran out as fast as I could. I came to this building and locked myself in. Honestly, at first I thought something fell over, but then it continued. Like I heard the very first one. The first two were like right back to back with that first one. I thought something had failed, but then I immediately heard the second one and I ran. Things were weird today. This morning, I don't even know actually who else involved, honestly, but this morning, Mickey came over, they didn't talk about Judge with an EBO, whatever, he just seemed a little off.
he's wanting to get the judge to sign the EPO.
I know somebody was coming to draw for him, and he needed to ask questions about it or something. But he was just like a walk back and forth, walking around. He came back from lunch. The thing I thought was odd was whenever he came back, he had his gun on his side.
The sheriff did?
He was just in normal clothes today. So I didn't even know if he was working, honestly. And then, because he didn't have it when he was first there. So then he came back with it.
Several sources said that the sheriff was kicked out of his home by his wife. They had some sort of a dispute, the night before the shooting. That was the reason that he was in plain clothes, because he wasn't able to have a uniform wherever he was, and that he showed up. When you see him in the judge's chambers, he's not wearing his sheriff's outfit. The sheriff then, we know about his movements, at some point went to see his daughter, and she didn't want to talk to him. So he then drove to the courthouse, and he went to see the judge. We do know that he picked up the phone and he tried to call his daughter from the judge's chambers. She didn't answer. Then he used the judge's phone and she answered. So we have a situation where the sheriff had domestic issues at home. Clearly, he was kicked out of his house. There's been some dispute from different sources about when it happened, but my sources are saying it was that night before the actual shooting. And he was in a great deal of distress.
Where was your daughter at? You was asking about her. Was she outside? But it's up to you.
If I can see my daughter in person here.
At the jail.
Yep. At the jail, through the screen, on the phone, I want to see my daughter in person. And then after that, I'll tell you everything at that jail.
Well,
in front of cameras. Video recording.
Where's your daughter at? Where's she at?
She was at LCC earlier. She's at LCC. I talked to her.
So, if she finds out that her dad is being arrested for shooting the judge, and she's in high school. I didn't know how old she was, so I didn't know. So she's in high school. What is she, a senior? That's going to be hard.
She will want to see me. She will want. Now, come on, guys, be fair to me now.
Is she 18?
Be fair to me now, guys.
Well, hold on. Is she 18?
Be fair to me now.
No, I'm asking you.
Come on, I want to see my daughter in person.
Is she 18?
I want to see my daughter in person.
She's
have a kid. I've got grandkids.
I
Yeah,
got 5 grandkids.
yeah.
5 grandkids.
Listen to you.
I just want to see my daughter.
If she's not 18, we're going to ask your wife. We have to ask your wife if it's okay. You know that. Is she 18?
Christine and LaShawna both said they were both on their way here.
Okay.
They were in here. There was all kinds of people in here just running around chaotic. So
Okay.
how
So-
am I going to tell you what happened?
To the judge?
Yeah. You know, Christine LaShawna said my wife and daughter's on their way.
I know, but you just said how are you going to tell us what happened? Everybody's running around chaotic.
It was. I just want to see my daughter.
Is she 18? How old is she? If your wife's out there with her, if she ain't 18, we can ask if that's okay. But if she's 18, we just ask your daughter. So that's what I'm getting at. If she's not 18, we have to ask your wife. Do you think they're outside?
LaShawna and Christine said they was on their way. Let me talk to them too.
You want to go ask them about it? Yeah.
Hit that button right there.
But this is recorded. His is recorded.
Guys, come on now. Be fair to me now.
Mickey, we're not being unfair to you.
Why are you... Nikki, okay, this ain't even related to the shooting or anything. Has anything been going on?
They're not singing to me.
Where's LaShawna and Christine? They were right here. Let me see them too.
I don't know who is.
Who did you ask out there?
Zach.
They work at the sheriff's.
They may be, I bet they're on the outskirts where they got everything blocked off. I bet, because they ain't gonna let them in here, I'm sure. See if we can get some people to track them down. So, I was trying to get some people to try to find them. So, I'll be honest, Mickey, you don't seem like you normally do when I speak to you.
But the handcuffs.
Well, no, not just that. You
Just
see,
want y'all to be fair to me.
yeah, you
That's
see,
it.
you know I'm going to be fair to you, but you do seem off compared to how you normally interact with me. Like something's going on. Like, has anything else been going on the last few weeks? Do you take like medicine for anything? Or you any type of illness or anything?
Be fair to me.
So our boss has said we can't bring in your daughter to see you, okay? So maybe when you get down to the jail, but not before you get down there, okay? So let's talk about it. What happened today?
Which jail are we going to?
I think, not positive, Mickey, but I think they're transporting you to the Leslie County Jail for your safety.
For your safety. So we're not
I
here.
just don't know why I can't see the people I asked to see. Shauna and Christine, they were just here.
Yeah. That's not our call. That was a supervisor. Yeah. Yeah.
I have some more water.
Yeah.
Just be fair to me, guys. I mean, I understand why, everybody come in huffy and puffy, but there was several of them.
Well, you know,
It's a danger. I know.
emotions are high when things happen like that. They don't know if you would still want to be aggressive towards them.
Well, I was already cuffed and sitting down, and
Okay.
you know,
I know.
the other guys have patted me down and stuff.
Well, like I said, something led up to this. It just didn't happen. We would just like to know why it transpired this way. If you don't want to, that's up to you. You don't want to talk about it?
No.
Okay. Okay. Are you sure you don't want to talk about it? Just make it sure. And if not, then we'll try to figure out the transport situation.
What do you mean try to figure out? You already told me where it was.
Well, how we're going to take you down there and stuff. So.
Take it as a portion of the video.
Yes, it is.